What's up, everybody? And we are back with yet another RLCS video. And today we got a video I wasn't exactly expecting to make. I didn't realize this when I was initially kind of planning my content schedule, but apparently there's a bye week in between the NA Regional 1, E Regional 2, and then so forth. Seems to be, play both EU one weekend, NA the next, and then bye week. Did not know about that. So I thought, let's fill in this bye week with some power rankings. It'll be something new. Wasn't on the plan, but we're going to go ahead and hop right into it. Let's go ahead and start off with some honorable mentions, though. And we got complexity at 11 and in secret at 12. I went in and put in the parentheses what each team's previous ranking is based off my preseason. I didn't make a video on it. Like I said, I wasn't planning on making a series out of this, but I went ahead and went into it anyway. So this is what I had them before the season started, and now I have them at 11, previously 10, and then they were unranked. No, or in the top 10, which is all I did, and so I have them still unranked, but just on the outside. I thought Secret looked pretty good. Complexity looked really good, and then they had that abysmal showing against Energy. Honestly, had they played better against Energy, they'd probably be like 9-ish. But, unfortunately, they just did not have a good showing against Energy, so I had to kick them out. But they look good otherwise, and I expect them to probably bounce back. But for now, I have them at 10. Let's go ahead and get right into it. In 10, we have Gentlemates, who initially I had at 8. Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of how Gentlemates played. A lot of y'all may be like, well, they're an EU team, EU 4 seed, they gotta be good. Come on, guys. I'm not a huge fan of Gentlemates. I thought Itachi, leaving the team and replacing Redosin is just a huge downgrade for them. Really just not all that amazing of a roster. Like, Seiko's still good, Juicy's still good, but Itachi, to me, was the star of the show for this team last season, and losing him is going to be probably a big hurt for them. They're probably not going to be very good. And honestly, they didn't look very good. They got swept by KC. They almost got swept by Vitality. They did look solid against NIP, but to be honest, I wasn't impressed with NIP really either. You'll see them shortly on the list, but for now, I really... And even their 2 series they did win. They squeaked out a win against Starpoint. They squeaked out a win against GK. Neither of those teams are on my top, on my list. Didn't look all that fantastic. But, so I really gotta see more before I can even raise them. Because honestly, the way they're going, they might not even make my top 10 next week. And at number 9, we have another team that is disappointing me. That's the Ultimates. Yeah. They were, to me, the NA2 seed, and I thought there really was going to be no competition. It was going to be Energy and Ultimates, and they didn't really look like it. They kind of got beat around. They got beat up by Complexity. They went close against SSG, really could have won that series, and then they kind of, Energy, this is actually a closer series. I honest to God think, if you were watching my watch party, you will know, I think we should have won this series in 4, but we really just kind of collapsed. It was game 4 and 5 were the 2 we really collapsed. These are 2 we should have won. Should have won the series in 5. We didn't. We looked bad. So, I mean, it kind of is what it is. They still looked, decent. They still looked like a clear top 4 NA team. I don't think they're a bad team. They just are disappointing me to start off. I had to move them down. I think they can, still be that great team, but we got to see more. Wasn't a huge fan of how LJ played. Wasn't a huge fan of how Chronic played. I thought FK was, the main initiator for most of that team this past weekend. Got to see more from them. But for now, I'm going to barely have them clinging on the top 10, but disappointing so far. And next, we're going to go ahead and shift to a team that's been the opposite. This is, to me, probably everybody, the biggest surprise of the NA season so far. It's SSG. Honest to God, they looked like the best team this past weekend until the last 3 games of the grand final. If you do not include these 3 games, they looked like the best team in NA far and away. They looked great this past weekend. Obviously, they had some close series against Strictly Business and Deleted Gaming, but, they beat NRG in the group stage, and then they beat Ultimates in a best of 7, and then they beat 9 Lives, who's not terrible, could be better, but not terrible, and then, they were on the precipice of beating Energy in the grand finals before Energy kind of stepped on the gas and put them in their place. But a lot of promise for SSG. I like where they're going so far. They looked really good this past weekend, and I think, if they kind of keep it up, this is a team that could, honest to God, be like a top 6-ish team in the world. Just got to keep it up, show me some more. That's the only reason I have them at 8 right now and not higher, is because I just got to see it again. But so far, great sign. Very surprised team. Very happy with how they played, and I expect a lot of great things to come from them. And now we're back, unfortunately, to the disappointing teams, and that is NIP. Honestly, this is not a team that lacks talent. They just don't have a play style. I watched them play, and when in the preseason, when I see a team with Itachi, I think this is gonna be a very team-oriented team. It's an EU team. This is gonna be a lot of passing plays, a lot of midfield work, working off each other. They did not do that. Pretty much their entire game plan was Oski solo play and hope it works. That was about it, and obviously it did not work all the time, getting absolutely mollywopped by Vitality, and the same against KC. But it's just kind of how it is. They did get a nice win against Mates. It was closer than it really should have been, in my opinion, based off how I rate Mates. But like I said, I just not impressed with how this team. This is still one that I think can be a top 5 team, top land contender, but they really need to figure out their play style. It's not going to work just full field solo playing with Oski. You got to get him some help. You got to work out the teamwork. I know, but I trust Itachi, so that's why I'm still holding out hope, and I haven't moved him down too far, but was not impressed with him this past week. And next we got Twisted Minds, who honestly, up until this grand final, looked like the best team in MENA. They even took down Falcons in the first matchup in the group stage, and they looked really, really good. But unfortunately, they weren't able to get the job done. But this is a team that's quickly rising for me. Rise and Nupo have looked deadly together. Really excited for this team. They're going to probably do some damage on land. This is a team that I think could make top 6 on land, considering I do have them at number 6. So I'm honestly really impressed with Twisted Minds. I think they're going to quickly rise. If they can take, a series off of Falcons, they're really going to, put themselves in contention to be one of the best teams in the world, in my opinion. So I'm really impressed with Twisted Minds. We'll see how they can do, if they can keep it up, or if Falcons are just going to let them run the show again. Next, we got Furia, who, to be honest, just did exactly what I expected. There was really no, surprises with them. The only reason they even went up is because the teams below them did worse, in my opinion. I think I had, or above them, I think I had Ultimates NIP right above them, and they both kind of were meh. But, yeah. Furia, took care of business. They, won the regional, close one against Secret, but this is exactly what I expected of a team like Furia, so not too shocking results. It's about exactly what I expected. And another team that did exactly what I expected was Falcons. They honestly, like I said, they don't move at all for me. I have them at 4. One of the 2 teams that did not move in my power rankings. I was honestly, not too surprised with what Falcons did. They won another regional. They did drop a series to Twisted Minds, but they came back grand finals, took them down. Outside of that, they only lost 1 game. So, quick business for them. They're looking that they are still the strongest in the region and, world championship contender like they were last season. So, looking forward to see them play some more series. We'll see if Twisted Minds can catch up to them, but for now, Falcons are still a distant one in MENA for me. And next we have the troublemakers themselves, NRG. 10 straight grand finals. How do I have them anything but 1? I actually moved them down a spot. And to be honest, NRG still scare me. They still have some work to do, in my opinion. They dropped the series to SSG early and then didn't lose again, but there is still some serious inconsistency. Honest to God, I said it in the Ultimate slide, they should have lost this series. Ultimate's kind of tossed the series, is this. But then after this series, they honestly started to look themselves against Complexity. They put a hammer on them. Good series against them. Can't blame them for anything there, like what we saw. And then against SSG, they were once again on the precipice of losing until the last 3 games. Sathu worked his magic and they just went unbelievable. But to be honest, if the only, it's only a series and a half that I can really, pick away and be like, yeah, this is, world beating contender. The rest, I was just like, eh. So for now, I only have them at 3, but this is obviously, this is it. This is former G2. They can rise any moment for me. But for now, just got to keep them at 3. I think, if NA can look a little bit better this next regional and an NRG comes in and wins easily, then heck yeah, I'll put them on the rise. But for now, I think 3 is a doable spot for them. And then number 2, we have Vitality, who is the runner-up in EU. And you're probably like, wait, why is NRG below Vitality? Guys, Vitality looked really, really good. I mean, this is the former World Championship squad, and they dropped I mean, 2 games until this grand finals. We'll get to this team later, but you know, I mean, Vitality just looked really, really good. I mean, they, honest to God, I thought they were the best team in the regional until the grand final. Really impressed with them. I think they're going to be a top 2 team. I don't really see a world where they don't make at least another grand final, if not both. Probably do end up winning a regional. We'll see if the team above them will be able to, you know, repeat the perfect split like they did last season. But for now, I think Vitality 2 is an adequate spot because, like I said, the only series they looked bad against was the team that I have above them, which is KC. I mean, yes. Come on. Let's be honest. No one's better than KC. KC is the best team in the world. It's really, in my opinion, not a competition. They really should be the runaway favorites at Birmingham for the moment. Honestly, this is looking... I honest to God think this KC is relatively better than the KC that we saw last season, who went perfect in their first split and were the overwhelming favorites at their LAN. I mean, this KC honestly looks unstoppable. I really don't know how they're going to drop a series. I mean, it's going to be tough. They're going to be very good. We may see them, you know, we may see them drop a regional. I don't see it. I think they're going to go perfect split again, and they're going to be my favorites to win the major once again. They look really good. But to be honest, you know, we'll see what happens. We all said the same thing last season, and then they dropped the major and then fell apart. Might see that again, but I don't know. For now, KC is my number 1. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe. I'm going to continue to pump out RLCS content. Obviously, no watch party this weekend, you know, with it being a bye week, but we'll be back to it next week for the EU regional. Anyways, that's going to be it for me, and I'll see y'all next week.